Permettez-moi maintenant de prononcer une déclaration.
Allow me now to make a statement in my capacity as the chairman of the Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People. I'd like to introduce the delegation with me. Ambassador Bekaya, Permanent Representative of Indonesia to the UN, Vice Chair of the Committee, Madam Maria Chamorro, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Nicaragua to the United Nations, Vice Chair of our committee, Mr. Massour Riyad, Ambassador, Permanent Observer of the State of Palestine to the United Nations, the Secretariat, Mr. Chambiro, on my left, and his staff. Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, this meeting is one of a series of international events organized by the Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People. This year, the Committee organized a meeting in Vienna from the 31st of March to the 1st of April to mobilize international assistance to Gaza. We all know it had been ravaged by the events last year. From the 20th to the 22nd of May, a roundtable on legal mechanisms in The Hague brought together renowned international experts involving young cadres of the Palestinian government as well. On the 1st and 2nd of July, the committee organized a meeting in Moscow that explored opportunities to foster conditions for a successful political process and examining international efforts in this regard. In holding this meeting today in Brussels, and we know that is the political capital of Europe, our committee wishes to provide a forum for experts and representatives of member states to discuss the current situation and the impact of Israeli settlements on the lives and the economy of the Palestinian people, as well as to examine legal aspects of this issue and to provide a forum to discuss ways forward, as well as how to enhance advocacy and redouble efforts of the international community. It is with great pleasure that the committee can welcome the representative of the Secretary General of the United Nations, Madam Rima Khalef. Also, we welcome the presence of experts from the State of Palestine as well as Israel. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, from the standpoint of the international community and of international law, the situation is quite clear. Israeli settlements on occupied Palestinian territory are illegal. On this particular issue, the Security Council spoke with a single voice when in 1980 it passed Resolution 465, including the votes of all its members and also including all 5 permanent members. The resolution affirmed that the Geneva Convention is applicable to the territories occupied by Israel since 1967, including Jerusalem, and that, quote, measures taken by Israel to change the physical character, demographic composition, institutional structure, or status of the Palestinian and other Arab territories occupied since 1967, including Jerusalem, have no legal validity, and that Israel's policy and practices of settling parts of its population, as well as new migrants in these territories, constitute a flagrant violation of the 4th Geneva Convention, end of quote. This is Resolution 465 of the Security Council. The Security Council further declared that Israeli settlements, quote, constitute a serious obstruction to achieving a comprehensive, just, and lasting peace in the Middle East. And the Security Council called upon all states not to provide Israel with any assistance that could be used specifically in connection with settlements in the occupied territories. In subsequent resolutions, the Security Council and the General Assembly reaffirm this clear position, as indeed has been the case with the International Court of Justice. However, 48 years after the occupation of the West Bank, Gaza, and East Jerusalem, and the beginning of Israeli settlements in the occupied territory, 34 years after the outright annexation of East Jerusalem and its suburbs by Israel, which also was declared illegal by the Security Council, 21 years after the signing of the Oslo Accords, settlements are growing, and their expansion is the declared goal of many Israeli officials, parties, and ministers. Israeli settlements on occupied Palestinian lands are an intrinsic aspect of the unequal power relationship and of a system of occupation and domination of one people over another. As the Security Council affirmed so many years ago, the settlement project is, quote, a serious obstruction to achieving a comprehensive, just and lasting peace in the Middle East. It is an affront to all efforts by the international community, which deploys so much effort to find a solution to the conflict, including the Arab Peace Initiative. The international community has therefore an important role to play, not only in the quest for a just and durable final status, but also in advocating for the rights of the Palestinian people and for upholding international law in the interim. And in this regard, the committee welcomes recent efforts by the European Union to strengthen its policies vis-à-vis Israeli settlements, and all commercial products originating from them. Governments, parliamentarians, civil society are called upon to work together in this regard. And it is with this goal in mind that our meetings are public, and we welcome representatives from all parties, and that following our two-day meeting, the committee will be holding consultations with NGOs here in Brussels. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all for participating in this meeting, and I look forward to stimulating and interesting sessions ahead of us over the next 2 days.